Welcome to Soul Therapy with Chelle. I am Chelle Griffin and I practice as a soul doula. I combine therapeutic knowledge and lived experience with a healthy dose of spiritual exploration. Feel welcome to join me as we learn and grow together, exploring the magic and wonderment of experiencing life on earth as a spiritual being. Welcome to another episode of Soul Therapy with Chelle. Today we're going to be exploring our intuition and how we can embrace our intuition, how we can connect in with our spirit guides, the archangels, and I'll share a bit about what my experience is like and also how you can connect in with your own intuition, your higher self. So a bit of background. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Well, that's my belief. That's my knowing for myself. And I have felt that way for as long as I can remember. I've always felt that there was something more. It's really interesting. My youngest the other day just sort of turned to me and he was like, you could tell he was deep in thought, and he's gone like, Mum, I just don't understand what the point is. I went, oh, the point of what, babe? And he's like, just the point of everything, of being here and this life. And I was like, my little old soul he is. And so we had a chat about, which inspired today's episode. We had a chat about how we're in this vehicle, in this human body for this lifetime, and we're here to experience everything that life has to offer us, the full spectrum of that human experience. So the extremes from great joy and thrill and love to the depths of despair and loss and sorrow and everything that's in between. And we have chosen this for this lifetime. We've chosen the people that come into this life with us, and we have chosen not to a finite degree, but we've chosen themes that we want to explore and lessons we want to learn. We've chosen for this lifetime, I know I have experienced the greatest of grief I've known in this lifetime. I'm sure I've experienced that in other lifetimes, but for some reason in this lifetime, there was a connection with unconditional love and grief for me. It's been my greatest lesson. It's also allowed me to experience my greatest love in this lifetime. And that's been through the loss of my daughter 20 years ago. Just saying 20 years, the tears spring. It feels like it was moments ago. My body remembers that experience vividly. And I also, at the same time, remember with such great love that I got to experience, and that in other lifetimes, I may have experienced love in other, especially unconditional love in other forms, like from parental unconditional love. In this lifetime, it was in a different direction. It was with my daughter and, with my kids that I've subsequently birthed after her and then her passing. Different themes come through. And so it's coming back to intuitively knowing how to connect with our higher self and remembering why we've come here and what our purpose is for this lifetime. So coming back into intuition, connected in with that part of yourself that has a knowing, has a sense, a feeling, connecting with the spiritual realm through seeing in through the mind's eye, connecting in through like a taste may be familiar. You don't have that taste in your mouth in that time, but there's this taste that associates with a spiritual message. There's also a hearing clairaudience, hearing what guidance you're receiving through. It may be through your own voice internally, but there's a difference to it. You know, it's not coming from you, it's coming from a higher being or another realm. And then there's also clairsentience, where it's just a feeling. So I invite you, pause for a moment and just check in with where your intuition feels strongest. Notice over the next few days where that feeling comes from, where that guidance feels the loudest. For me, it's clair knowing. It's this deep claircognizance, rather. For me, it's claircognizance, which is a knowing. I just know in my bones when I'm getting a message, or if something is right for me or not, or the opposite, if something's not aligned with my highest good and my highest timeline. There's just this guttural knowing. I also have quite strong clairsentience, which is feeling and sensing, picking up on the energy around. I can walk into a room and I know where not to go, where the vibe is feeling heavy or draining, where I'm drawn to energy that feels lighter and more aligned with my energetic frequency, and where I feel uplifted. It's tuning in and just checking. It's also checking in somatically with the body, knowing when our body reacts in certain situations. And this is separate to activated response through trauma, which I've spoken about in another episode. It's you're clear and free and really aligned with your true self in that moment, and it's feeling those sensations in your body. So it might be just one way I practice is if I got a choice and I'm feeling really uncertain which way to go, I have a practice where I picture in my mind's eye. I just sit there and close my eyes down, focus in through my third eye, and I tune in and play out the situation and notice how my body responds. And if my belly feels, really tight and churning, or a sense of uneasiness or discomfort, I find myself a little bit fidgety, and my breath starts to get a little bit short or tingling in my body, like maybe my hands get activated and it doesn't feel right. I feel a little bit off, like I'm not quite fully in my body and things just aren't sitting quite right. I know that's choice is not for me. Doesn't mean it's not for me forever, just in that moment it's not sitting right. Then I tune in and imagine another alternative, and maybe I start to feel a lightness in my belly, a bubbling, not excitement so much. It's more of a sense of peace and a sense of calm. That's how I know something feels right for me. I am really tuning in and getting a sense that, okay, I'm feeling settled. My breath feels deeper. My hands in particular get quite hot and tingly, and I know that's Reiki energy in particular coming in and being activated and channeling through my body. And I just, again, come back to, for me, it's a knowing. And that's just two ways you can tune in to explore which path feels aligned for you. Other ways, you can use a pendulum, you can use cards, pull cards, ask your guides, tune in and ask them for guidance through cards and pull a couple of cards to give you an indication of the path that feels right for you, or any insight that you need to know in that moment, or simply meditate and tune in, connect with your spirit guides. I connect in with the archangels like multiple times a day. I connect in with my divine protection team, my loved ones in the spirit world. I connect in with my daughter so often and check in with her and receive like guidance and validation and just such care and love. And I tune in with my guides and guardian angels for, again, protection, energetic protection and guidance. And I remember when I was little feeling that sense of love and connection. And then in my 20s, pushing all that away. I had grown up in organized religion, felt, suffocated by it and not aligned with the practices. What was being told to me of how I should be and what I was seeing in that particular religion, just were two very different things. And so I think I decided at quite a young age that it's the actions of people that tells me authentically what's going on rather than the words. So that's been a lesson I've had to really work through. I pick up on the energy of someone. I know if they're aligned with me. I can tune in energetically and get that sense of if this connection feels right. The human side of me used to work really hard with people that weren't energetically aligned with me and try and like convince them that they wanted to be or needed to be. As I've grown up, I've realized, not everyone needs to be on the same page and deeply connected, that we can have beautiful interactions momentarily connected and part ways and go off without there having to be, fireworks or anger or discord, just a beautiful parting of ways and letting them go on with their life, letting me go on with mine. Some beautiful memories to take away with us, and some really big lessons that we both learned, that we've agreed to come into each other's lifetime to teach or learn together. So it's when we're connecting at that soul level that we're able to, come from a place of observation, and our intuition plays a massive part of that. We are all so connected, so deeply connected. We are all energy. We're this hologram of a human. That's not who we are. We are a soul being, eternally growing and experiencing, choosing to come to Earth or other realms to experience what this planet has to offer. Earth is really dense in the energy in human form, so it's really challenging. Some people come here and they're like just not in agreement, just want out and want to go back to their spiritual form, or back to their star system of origin, and find it really hard being in this world. I know at times I've really felt that way, that going, I just don't belong here. This doesn't feel right. It feels heavy, like especially the collective energy over the last, several years. It's been intense. It's been heavy. Feels like things are really shifting and getting lighter. One of the ways that I've really supported myself intuitively is taking a step back, opting out of like mainstream media. I no longer have the news on. We haven't had the news on in our family for, God, over 15 years. I don't even buy newspapers. I stopped buying magazines almost 20 years ago. Just that mastermind manipulation of spinning narratives aren't necessarily true, and focusing on my own bubble, how I can be the best version of myself, how I can grow and learn and connect with myself and those around me, and empower others to do the same. That's been a big part of it, discovering my purpose. I've been seeking for so long, and finally, through a lot of intense work over the last 3 years, in particular, doing my Angel Messenger certification to become a light leader, I've really come to connecting with my higher self and embody the practice of like meditation, grounding with Mother Gaia, harmonizing my chakras, aligning and intentionally living consciously, and taking a step back, observing and trying not to be so reactive. Of course, we're human. We're going to be reactive. Things are going to come along to activate us. That's part of our learning and growth. So I invite you to feel into that part of yourself, your higher self, and just have chats, have internal chats, notice the feeling, talk to your guides. It's not that hard. Have a moment of stillness and quiet, and just notice, notice what comes in. It's it's a practice. It takes time, and you're not going to necessarily go into this Zen place and have complete stillness immediately. And I don't think that's the purpose of meditation. I think for me, the purpose of meditation is reaching that state of observation. Go, oh, there I go again. I'm sitting here doing my divine protection for me and my kids, and suddenly I'm thinking about the shopping list, or I'm thinking about a movie I watched, or I'm thinking about what I have to do tomorrow and how I'm going to logistically make this happen. And then go, oh, hang on, I've just wandered off. Come back. Where was I up to? That's meditation. That observation of thoughts come in, thoughts go out, thoughts come in, thoughts go out, and just being mindful and aware. That's the beauty of meditation. That's the slowing down, the settling of the nervous system, the connecting with your higher self, and just really tuning in and experiencing. Like, I have chats with my archangels all the time. There's so many different archangels. I'll save that for another episode. But I tune into them for different purposes. If I'm feeling lost and worried and stressed, I will call in Archangel Michael. I communicate with Archangel Michael multiple times a day. If I've lost something or I'm looking for something, I call in Archangel Samuel. If I'm feeling energetically vulnerable, I call in Archangel Metatron, Archangel Michael, and Archangel Butilil, and I work with them morning and night energetically to protect my auric field, my home, my family, and it just brings such comfort. And they only are so willing to work with me. They step up every single time. They take care of the how. If I've got a wish, I will put it out there. I hand it over to them and trust that they're in the background maneuvering the universe. Like, it sounds so far-fetched, but I promise you it's so true. They're in the background just creating my wishes so that when it aligns for it to come into fruition, it does. And it can be from the most simple things of, like, I'm looking for a car park and one automatically appears. It can be I'm supposed to be somewhere and I'm running late, and suddenly the traffic flows and I get there on time, and it seems to have taken me quicker to get there than it usually would. Other times they put in roadblocks for me that I'm not meant to be somewhere, that they come up with a cancellation, and I'm there going, hang on, I was really looking forward to that. Why is that not happening? But it's because another opportunity was meant to come in and redirected. It's such a process of trust and faith. And one of the biggest lessons for me over the last few years was my husband and I had this dream of moving to the coast and living on acreage. And at the time, we lived in the city. Our kids were in a school that went from prep to year 12. I'd grown up in a family that moved around a lot, so it felt really important to me that my children grew up in the one home and stable form of education. So, like one primary school, one high school. Somehow managed to find a school that was prep to year 12, and like, brilliant. How stable can you get? Totally manifested that. But my husband and I had this idea of we wanted to move to acreage, and in our minds, we thought it could only happen when we retire. Along came a pandemic, and that wasn't great for everyone. That was a really testing and intense few years. But one of the beauties that came from it was that we were both able to work from home, and we had the space to really think about what was really important for us and our family. And we had the opportunity to move. And now here we are. We live in the beautiful hinterland on a beautiful small acreage. It's so peaceful. It's been so calming for all of us and been such a beautiful integration into community up here, because a lot of other people have been transient and moving in. So it hasn't felt like moving into this cliquey country town from my childhood. That's what that experience was like. This instead has been meeting people who have moved in from all over the world. The diversity is just magical, and the variety of experiences that we've been able to lean into while living here. It's not been without its challenges. Absolutely. That's life. Life is a roller coaster of challenges. But we know we're in the place we're meant to be. And we didn't know how that was going to work. We put the call out to our angels and our guides and said, this is what we want to do. And everything started aligning and opportunities opened up so that we could say a big yes and move. And here we are, so much happier. So, your intuition, it's just such a beautiful world for you to enter into. I invite you to take a moment, journal. Automatic writing is really good. Just sit and write. And before you know it, you might be channeling your guides, ask questions, ask for answers. And before you know it, it's all just flowing in. There's so many different ways to connect in with your higher self and your guides. If you'd like to learn more, watch this space. I'll be opening up a guidance program next year, a teaching program for 2025. You're welcome to register interest by signing up for my newsletter, and I will let you know when that drops in. It's in the background at the moment processing. I just don't know about the timing yet. So watch this space, or work with me one-on-one. Book in a angel reading, and I will connect in with your Akashic records, which is the wisdom keepers, the knowledge of all knowledge, and can tune in and share with you your origin and what makes you who you are, and answer any questions that you may have, tuning in to your guides and connecting with the angels, working together to share whatever guidance is meant to come through. Or maybe you're feeling more like in need of therapeutic support. I integrate all my offerings into the one session, so you can opt in for that. Details are on my website. Thank you for tuning in today. I love having you here. If you've got any specific questions for the pod, please email them through. I'd love to hear from my listeners. Love to hear where you all are. And I'm on Instagram. Follow me there, and Facebook, and say hi. In the meantime, go within, go gently. Thank you for showing up for yourself by listening to Soul Therapy with Chelle. Feel welcome to subscribe to my podcast, share the pod with your friends, family, colleagues and neighbours. And please, if you are willing, I would absolutely love a 5-star review to give my little pod a boost in the algorithms. For further detail on how to work with me, please visit my website www.chellegriffin.com or find me on the socials. I hope you'll join me on my next episode. Till then, go gently and intentionally. With care, Chelle.